Who am I to turn you down to give me more money? I'm not gonna do that. My mother ain't raised no goddamn fool. Welcome to Discussion with Dawson. Thank you for joining me here today. Shout out to you guys. I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna try a new format. So jumping forward from that to this, the topic of discussion today is employment. When to stay, when to leave, when to apply somewhere else, things of that nature, as well as experiences I've had. I'm gonna share one story time, and it's great. Let me start off by saying this story time, this company that I ended up applying to after the original company, so much better. Granted, we had a falling out and I don't work with them anymore. It is what it is. This company I started working for it's a pizza company. I literally all I had to do was drive their trucks, gas it up, and clean it. 3 things. That was all I had to do, right? Which isn't a lot. They offered me $15 an hour, which was okay for that at that time. So here's the first red flag. I showed up to fill out the application. They didn't ask my ID. They didn't look at my ID. They didn't copy my ID. They never seen my ID. I could have literally never had a license and they would have let me rock out. That's red flag number 1. If I wanted to go to Cuba with their truck, they couldn't tell me anything. They couldn't even stop me for all that matter. They just have to put out like an APV or an APV or a BOLO for this truck. That's number 1. Number 2, red flag number 2. My second night there, the dude who I was working with told me that there was a pay issue, and I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" He's like, "What did they tell you that you were going to make?" And I was like, "The ad says 15 an hour." And I pull up the ad for him and I show him 15 an hour. He says, "Well, the pay rate is 12." This gets my attention because I applied for 15 an hour, not 12. And if you look on the keypad, 2 and 5 are, there's a gap in between it. If you accidentally hit 13, acceptable. But you hit the 5. So you literally have to go 1 and 5, not 1 and 3. I didn't get the mistake. Anyway, I emailed my boss who I signed the paperwork with, and he emailed me back saying that 15 was a typo. And I was like, well, we have a problem because I applied and signed paperwork saying 15 an hour. So if 15 is a typo, I'm out. You need to fix that ad immediately. He goes, let me talk to you about tomorrow. Work your shift, and we'll talk about tomorrow. All right, cool. I worked the shift. Everything goes well. One of the funniest shit though is there's a room that was at this place, and there's a big ass room. It's like high ceilings of pizza boxes, pallets filled with pizza boxes, and they were high as shit. All right, had to be about 10 feet tall. One day I come into work, and there's no pizza boxes. I'm confused because I'm like, yo, how exactly do you run a pizza company with a pizza truck and no pizza boxes? I'm baffled, right? I tell them about it. He says he'll take care of it. The next night, never takes care of it. He called me though to talk about the pay rate. He goes, I can't pay you the 15 an hour unless you go get your ServSafe certificate, food handler certificate. I say, all right, send me the link. He sends me the link, and it doesn't have all the information. I never got that certificate under that company. So, flip them off. My first check though, I go and I get my first check, and 1 is short, and number 2 is late as hell. This is red flag number 3, and at this point, I'm now looking at new jobs. I applied for a job while I was literally there talking about my check. They agreed to pay me everything on the next check. All right, cool. They claimed it was some weird pay period thing. If your pay period starts on a Saturday and you work overnight, your pay is weird because we break your check in half. They never mentioned this the first day. Also, they get paid weekly. So that check was short. Everything will be on the next check. All right, cool. And things just got progressively worse from there. One night I went to go pick up the truck from where it was supposed to be. It wasn't there. It was somewhere else, and I had to go somewhere else to get the truck. One night I showed up to go get the truck, and there's like several tickets on the truck. Bruh, that's a red flag. Now, here's where the story gets funnier. So, the other job that I applied for hit me back up, and they asked for an interview. I was like, all right, cool, no problem. I can come in for an interview. I'll come in tomorrow. They're like, all right, 10 o'clock work for you? 10 o'clock works great for me. I show up to the job. The company is Oh My Green. I show up to Oh My Green and I meet Brian, I meet Nicole, I meet Riley. All great. The issue is they're all white. I've never seen a warehouse run by only white people. That's one red flag. Number two, everybody I meet is happy as hell and he's like, it's great working here, da 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 da. Any job I've ever been to, nobody is ever telling me, no. Any job I've ever been to, everybody isn't always like, it's great, da 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 da. They're not feeding this positive thing. It feels like a cult. I go, all right, cool, everything goes well. Brian says, I think you should work for us. I'll have the people reach out to you. I'll look forward to seeing you soon. We shake hands, I leave. I go back home, I go to sleep, I get up to go to work at the other company, the pizza place. I get to the pizza place, and as I'm there, they're saying there's something wrong with payroll. People won't be getting their check this week. You don't fuck with black people's money. It's bad enough that your direct deposit wasn't kicking in, but now the check that you're supposed to give me isn't kicking in. It's not here. All right, cool, whatever. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt, but I'm already 1 foot out the door. I'm damn near all my body's out the door. Just my foot is left behind in the old spot. So they get the check thing situated, and the new job emails me like, hey, everything is great. You fill out all this paperwork, and I do all that. The following day, the new job, Oh My Green, hits me up, and they're like, hey, we have an issue. We made you an offer, and we don't think the offer is a fair offer because your background came back, and it's a sparkling review of what we needed. So we're going to bump your pay from the 16 to a higher amount. Who am I to turn you down to give me more money? I'm not going to do that. My mother ain't raised no goddamn fool. Anyway, they raised the amount. I still think it's bullshit. Everything is too good to be true. I go to the pizza shop and I'm like, hey, you guys have really messed up the money. The direct deposit ain't kicking in. He's like, oh, don't worry about it. Everything will be fine. You're looking great at the company. All right, whatever. I'm already 1 foot out the door. Like, I'm literally 1 foot left in the door. The rest of my body is like ready to go to this new company. Even though it sounds like a cult. Anyway, I sign all my paperwork. I start the new job. My first day at the new job is great. I meet James. He starts the same day as me. We vibe amazingly well. I work a week and a half with James, and I'm already like, yo, I quit with the other job. So I end up leaving. I'm like, yo, I can't work for you guys no more. Everything you do is red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. One day I go to pick up my check. The truck is getting a boot while in front of the store. This is amazing. Like, why are you a company and you're getting boots on your company vehicles? You're not paying your money. You're not paying the money to pay these tickets, and you're not paying us our money. Where the hell is the money going? All the higher ups get their money. Why don't I have my money? And I'm out here doing the hard work. Anyway, I quit. I left that company, and when I was supposed to pick up my last check, they called me like, hey, we have your last check ready. I was at work with Oh My Green. Oh My Green, shout out to Brian. Oh My Green and Brian. Brian was basically the star of Oh My Green. He made me feel so welcome and dope. Oh My Green's a great company. They're no longer around. Sorry. I brought who I could in. Other than that, it is what it is. When I was supposed to go get my last check, I called Brian like, hey, quick question. I'm supposed to get my last check from the other company. I just quit. I'm now a full-time devoted to Oh My Green. He's like, oh, that's great. What's the call for? I'm like, I need to get my last check, and I don't want to take the train from Brooklyn to Harlem to go back to Brooklyn. He's like, oh. I was like, well, can I borrow the Sprinter van and dart over there to get the check and race back to Brooklyn? Brian was like, all right, I trust you. Two things, though. While you have the truck, you have to stay on the clock. I have no problem paying you for that. And number two, please don't let anything happen to the truck. If anything happens to the truck, I have to let you go. Fair request. Thank you, Brian. I leave, and I'm on my way to get my check, and as I pull up, my playlist starts playing in the truck. You want to know what song starts playing?
Bitch better have my, bitch better have my, bitch better have my.
I pull up, I jump out of the van. Everybody there is looking at me like, yo, whose van is this? Like, why is it? This is a brand new Mercedes Sprinter van. And they got some beat up ass pizza trucks. They were livid. I walked in there, ordered a pizza, and they're like, all right, can we help you? I was like, yeah, I'm here for my last check. As Shorty's giving me the pizza, they go look for my check and they give it to me. And the boss is like, oh, he no longer works for us, so he don't get free pizza. I'm already out the door. It's too late. Bye. And I worked for Oh My Green for 2 years, and they helped me move from where I was in New York to my current location, which I don't want to speak about. But great experience. So with that being said, know who you're getting into bed with. If you've been with a company for some years and they don't want to give you the money that you should be getting, leave. I spent 8 years in security and I've only made at most $10 an hour. Not cool. 8 whole years of my life from, I think I was a teen when I started doing security till, I don't even remember, but it was ridiculous. It was a while. And every time I leave a company, I make sure I go for something better or something that evens out. For instance, if I have to drive an hour away, that's extra money I'm losing, right? Because I have to pay for gas, I have to pay for tolls, I have to pay for wear and tear on my car. All that adds up. I suppose if I go to work somewhere like 10 minutes away from my house, I'm now making more money because I don't have to pay for the wear and tear on my car, the tolls, and the gas as much. So an hour away versus 30 minutes away is two different things. It has to balance out. Also, look at your resume. Make sure you go over your resume repeatedly. Anytime a job starts to fuck with you, you immediately start to update your resume and make sure everything's good so you can apply for new jobs. I use Indeed. Indeed has been nothing but great for me. If you have anything other than Indeed, drop a comment down below and mention it. But I've used Indeed and Indeed has been great to me. What else? For anybody who has multiple people they know who are in higher positions of power, like for instance, if you know somebody in HR, have them look at your resume, have them give you feedback on your resume, have them tell you what you should put on your resume so you can get better pay. They also can give you tips and tricks on what you can and can't do and what will boost your pay. You don't work for that company, so they can tell you these things. Also, I shouldn't have to tell you this, but your first week at the job, you shouldn't be late. Those are a few tips and tricks, as well as a story time I just wanted to share with you guys to help you guys stay motivated. If you lose a job, don't worry. Like in New York, another job is right around the corner. Granted, these jobs take forever to call you back, so you have to be on their ass about it. What else? Also, get your email skills up. Once you have good emailing skills, jobs love that. Hey, just wanted to look into where my application is with you. I haven't heard anything back and I'm starting to apply to other positions. So if you are interested in, please reach out to me and let me know before somebody else reaches out to me. Good email etiquette, good communication skills. Don't sell yourself short. When a job asks you how much you think you should be making, you tell them how much you think you should be making, and it's got to be like an up there number. And then you tell them what you're willing to work for. So for instance, if I knew this as a kid, I would have definitely done a lot better. But I've done a job and they asked me what I should be making. And I was like, oh, 15 an hour. 15 hours is what I should be making. And that's what their minimum was, 15 an hour. And I literally applied for the 15. I got the 15. Further down the line, a dude was like, yo, why'd you say the 15? You should have asked for 27. Because you do a lot more work than a lot of people. And I could have got the 27. But now that I'm locked in at the 15, they don't want to give me the 27. So don't be afraid to shoot your number out there. If they want to pay you, they will pay you. You have to be worth the money though. So yeah. Also, if you get fired, don't be discouraged. Don't start crying. Just start looking. Crying does nothing when you lose your job. Crying does nothing at all. You sitting there moping and blah, blah, blah. I get it. Also, complacency is horrible, right? If you're at a job and you enjoy working with people, it's great. But if you get caught in that cycle where you just want to be there and be with certain coworkers, you don't want to apply other places. You become complacent there and you're not making what you should be making. Also, while you're working at a company, you should be following your hopes and dreams. Do other things once a day. Like I said, I'm working on a book. But yeah, work on stuff for yourself. I literally have a job. I'm working on a book. I'm doing gaming streams. I'm also doing YouTube. Don't get stuck doing one thing because you start to get complacent. You get stuck in complacency. And that's all you know. If you have something you're passionate about, feel free to do research and figure out what you like about that and start putting your foot in that door. Also, last but not least, go over the paperwork. When they say they're going to pay you an amount, make sure they give you that amount. I've been at multiple jobs where they be like, I'm going to pay you this, and they pay me less. And then when you catch it, they have to pay you everything they have to pay you all that back. you have to go all the way back to when you was getting that less amount and catch up with the current pay period. Of course, they're going to tax you. So be aware of that. This is why you want to catch it early. But yeah, that's my advice for working. I might do another one of these. I'm not sure. But yeah, that's it. This has been a discussion with Dawson. Thank you for joining me today. If you are a new person and you made it all the way to the end of the video, shout out to you. Feel free to drop a comment down below and let me know you made it to the end and if you like this type of content. I also have other content on my page, such as, you know, hygiene, male's hygiene, women's hygiene, things you should and shouldn't do in relationships, things like that. But yeah, drop a comment down below. Feel free to like the episode if I made you laugh. If I didn't make you laugh, drop a comment and tell me what you didn't like about the episode. Other than that, I am done for this episode. Don't forget to do better, be better, and stay better. Peace.
Bitch better have my, bitch better have my, bitch better